What is up, team? Welcome back to Sorare MLB First Pitch. I'm Alex Hooper. Um, Looking like Waldo here on this Labor Day, coming to you. We're going to open some rewards. We're going to play Sell or Hold. We are going to preview some upcoming players for the weekend game week, just getting out ahead of things, letting you know my top 10 pitchers, my top 10 hitters for this upcoming week, who to target, and who's cheap on the market. Let's see. Anything else we want to touch on this week? We'll see. We'll go into it. I'm in a bit of a hurry because I need to open my rewards. I've got a tier 2 coming, and I've got the top player on my list who I'm in a bidding war over with 16 minutes left to go. So you're going to see me do some live bidding here on the show probably, unless I somehow get my guy as a reward. And I may not even need him because he might be hurt. Okay. Well, a little preview. That's not what was meant to happen. All right, let's open some rewards. Let's play uh, sell or hold really quick. All right, so we got a another abysmal common. We got a tier 3 limited, a tier 4 limited, a tier 5 rare, and a tier 2 rare to open. Let's open this common really quick. Relief pitcher. Ooh, Vinny? Yeah, Vinny wasn't going to be a tier 5. All right. Moving on to the limiteds. Let's do the. Oh no, we're gonna do tier 3 first. Ian Happ, say Suzuki. I was just talking to our buddy Bob, Orange Fly. He was not happy with some of the, or confused by some of the bidding on Seiya Suzuki, his unique card, and then he ended up getting Seiya Suzuki, and so did I. All right, number 4 here. Will Myers, gross. Sure, okay. Oh, that's the other thing. We can do some giveaways now. We can do direct offers. Maybe we'll go over that at some point. Here's a tier 5, something like a Kendall Graveman. Jose Iglesias? I keep guessing, and I'm getting the backups. Garrett Hansen, actually, for a tier 5 is pretty good. That's an interesting one. All right, before we do the tier 2, let's run down some of these really quick. All right, we're going to start with Will Myers. We're going to go to I'm still using rest of season projections, despite the fact that, the season's winding down. Zips has not been updated yet, so I don't want to use I don't want to use a data set that needs updating to drive a lot of my decisions. So Will Myers, 128. Yeah, he's selling for 0.001. We're not going to do anything with him. All right. Like literally, I could not get anything. I probably could get something better, but he is what he is at this point. And we'll do some giveaways, and we'll get to that at the end of this show, actually. All right, Kirk Suzuki's the same. Seiya Suzuki's 0.03. As you see, the people surrounding him are about the same. I could go and get a Ketel Marte, but again, at this level, like it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for me to find. Like I can just buy guys at this point. So again, Seiya Suzuki might be a giveaway. Maybe. All right. Garrett Hansen all the way down here. 0.005 for a rare. That's fine. He's got a nice future, we think, still. They're just saying how Zips needs updated. So yeah, I mean, exceptional value for what they're projecting next year. We'll hold on to him. All right. So who's the big one? 23rd and rare all-star. What do we got? Brewers? Okay. All right. That's okay. That's not really my ideal, but I mean, he's good. Yeah, okay. Oh, 0.038. Exceptional value. I mean, you can get a Nick Castellanos, but I already have him. Cronenworth might be worth a shout just to have, another playoff player. Pittsburgh's not going to the playoffs. All right. Depending on his projection for this week, we might go after Brian Reynolds. All right, so the person, now that we know, who we've packed here, claim them all or not. Click out. So the person that I am chasing down is Christian Yelich. He is my highest projected player for the week. Don't know if he's going to play. We got 10 minutes here, and he is way below what he's normally been going for. 3 days ago, sold pretty high. Yeah, so, I mean, 310, 38. I'd be comfortable going up to 410 for him, honestly. So we're just going to go straight here to 3.8. We'll check back here in a little bit. All right. So those are the rewards. Again, just going back to Reynolds here. So if you've missed previous iterations, basically how I decide whether or not I'm buy or sell is I look at their projected points, I look at their recent sale price, and I look for people around them, comparisons, price wise. And Reynolds is the cheapest player, unless I wanted to go up to it. Cedric Mullins, which is 7 points more. Marcus Semien would be nice. Jorge Polanco I already have. Andy's on the injured list. And then there's Yelich up here. It's still almost double his price. So yeah, downwards, I think the comparison is Jake Cronenworth, who I think I might make a move for. But again, it depends on projections for this week. I'd love to have an Andres Jimenez, even though my Guardians are limping into the playoffs if they get there. So yeah, for right now, Brian Reynolds is a hold. Let us look at the top projected hitters for this upcoming weekend. Again, this is the weekend, not the midweek. It's not going to matter. This video will not be up in an hour and a half when this game week locks, or maybe it will. All right, so here they are, very right in front of your face. Here are our top projected hitters for the weekend. Bryce Harper, number 1. Dalton Varsho, number 2. That's an interesting one. Rafael Devers, Xander Bogaerts, the Red Sox pair right there, 3 and 4. Diamondbacks, Jake McCarthy's been slugging the ball, sitting 5th. Kyle Schwarber, 6th. Jose Ramirez, another Diamondback. Christian Walker, another Diamondback. Ketel Marte, and then Rhys Hoskins. So we're seeing Phillies. We're seeing Diamondbacks, Red Sox, and Jose Ramirez, who kind of stands alone and projects well every week, even though he's been really struggling. Let's look really quick because we're still winning. Okay, good. Do the Brewers play 4 times, or not the Brewers, do the Diamondbacks play 4 times this weekend? Because that's a leg up. Oh, they're at Colorado. Okay, there's your answer. Diamondbacks at Colorado. So I want to go back to this really quick. Here are the rare prices. Here are the limited prices last 3 days. If you'll notice, Dalton Varsho is 0.015. He plays catcher, he plays outfield, and then has the DH tag. So he's eligible at corner infield, middle infield, and outfield. Fantastic player. Great. I would hop on him ASAP. But yeah, the Diamondbacks, Varsho, McCarthy, Walker, and Marte are literally the 4 least expensive players and 4 of the top 10. So I would run that down, especially Varsho and Ketel Marte. I might go after Ketel Marte. But I mean, you can get the limiteds for nada. So I actually have a limited Bogarts, have a rare, limited, rare. Some, as of now, my main team is going to be the Phillies stack. Who the Phillies play? Washington. That makes sense. Yeah, so I'm going to go with a Phillies stack unless I can get my hands on some Diamondbacks, at which case I might just play them in rare all-star. So those are our top 10 hitters for next week. Here are top 10 pitchers. Max Scherzer, Garrett Cole kind of stand above the rest of the group. Shane Bieber. We got some White Sox, so they must have a bad matchup. Charlie Morton, Nola, Rodon. A lot of times these guys will stand out regardless of who they're facing. Sometimes you'll see kind of an outlier. So the White Sox are the cheapest here, and then Morton because he's aging. But who the White Sox got? Oakland, of course. Target folks who are pitching against Oakland. We've talked about that plenty. So, all right, there you go. Top 10, top 10, top 10. This is gonna be a quick one, if you can't tell. Scherzer, Cole, Bieber. I mean, Scherzer and Cole are tough to get. Much easier to get their limiteds. You can play their limiteds up in rare competition. Worth a go. So the last thing I wanted to talk about before we get into the giveaways, and this is kind of a segue, like Scherzer and Cole, expensive, but when you compare them to Shane Bieber and Robbie Ray, and then compare them to Giolito and Lynn, and as a matter of fact, all 9 of these top 9 are going to factor into what I'm about to tell you, and Carlos Rodon is going to be the person who does not. And we don't have pricing information on them because special characters and accent marks, and that's the only reason that's not showing. But anyway, the thing I wanted to talk about was we got about 3 weeks into the playoffs. So, 60 to 75% of these cards are going to be done. Here coming soon. So, if you are considering going out and buying cards, you might want to consider, will this team play in the playoffs and will I get extended utility out of them? Now, that said, and I'll make that point about some of those guys right now, if I can find where I had it. Either way, I can just do this. Might as well see it. You go to standings on Fangraphs and you go to playoff odds. We're going to click on MLB because it doesn't matter. This isn't a rooting interest thing. Okay, here are the chances of each team winning or making it into the playoffs. Oh, wow, the Guardians are down to 43%. They were at 60 a couple days ago. So we're going to look at the teams with over 50% of making it. Phillies, Padres, Rays, Jays, Mariners, Cardinals, Yankees, Astros, Mets, Dodgers, Braves. So those are the teams you should be targeting. So let's go back to our pitchers chart really quick because there was just a nice separation. So Scherzer and Cole, they're your most expensive. Mets, Yankees. Yankees, 100%. Mets, 100%. So you're going to get at least one more game out of them. Should that drive your decision? No, not necessarily. When you look at Bieber and Ray, Mariners, 99.5% chance. Bieber, on the other hand, 43%. Going forward, maybe not the best time to buy, but he is, the cheapest of the 4. Then you look at the White Sox, Giolito, Lynn, great matchup. White Sox are down here at 21%. So don't plan on any extra utility. Obviously, they can make a run. These odds can change very quickly, and the Central is not terribly close. Or sorry, it is very close, rather. And so you're going to see the White Sox, Twins, and Guardians shift quite a bit. So we're talking about one game of utility with whoever wins there. We're talking about, Lynn, Bieber, Giolito, and then even Robbie Ray. So now we want to focus on World Series odds. Dodgers, almost 20% to win. Mets, 15.9%. Astros, 14. Braves, 13.3. And then you get a pretty stark drop off here. So when you look at the 10% or more, you have 3 National League teams. The Braves, the Mets, and the Dodgers. These are the teams that have a chance to give you more utility. And also, when you're talking about the postseason, not everybody on the platform is preparing for this. I have to check on this Christian Yelich. 48. All right. Sorry, I don't mean to shift that quickly, but let's see. 48. Did it change already? Let's give it a go. This is probably my final bid. 51.9 would be the lowest in 2 weeks. What's their playoff odds? What's the Brewers' playoff odds? 36%. So not necessarily a long-term play for me. All right, I've been outbid. Next bid is 606. I don't even know that Yelich is going to play, so I'm not going up there. Congratulations to Simone Kip or whoever ends up winning it. But back to what we were talking about. So over 10%. Braves, Mets, Dodgers, all in the NL. One of them is going to eliminate the other on the way to the World Series. Unless, I guess, with the new playoff rules, that's not necessarily the case, but most likely you're going to see them run into each other. So if you're deciding on who is going to have, the most potential utility in the playoffs, it's the Dodgers. But I mean, it's only incrementally higher than the Mets and the Braves. And I believe you can get Mets and Braves cheaper than Dodgers. We'll go look at that really quick. Rest of season. All right, so Mets, I mean, obviously the top guys, they're expensive. Andrew Heaney is very inexpensive. You got an Astro right here. Got another Astro right here. Spencer Strider. So yeah, I guess just the point is you have to take that into consideration. Like, do I pay up for a Dodger because I truly think that 3% matters? Maybe, maybe not. Ultimately, you want DeGrom and Scherzer because they're going to make probably the big difference. But what I was saying about the depleted player pool is not everybody is preparing for playoffs. So the amount of lineups or the amount of dead lineups, even lineups without, 6 full players that are participating in a postseason game week, it's going to shrink massively. So the player pool is going to be a lot smaller. And I don't know what rewards are going to look like for the postseason, but I would imagine they would want to ramp them up. And I imagine they're also going to ramp up the marketing nationally for Sorare. So we might even see more users flood to the table, to the program, to the platform is the word I'm looking for. Hopefully, I mean that's the hope in general, but the amount of competitive lineups is going to shrink because not everyone is going to have 6 or 7 competitive players in the postseason. So that's when you start looking for players who are on these teams but are maybe undervalued. And I can think of one player in particular. So let's get rid of the teams who don't have 50% odds to make the playoffs. So we're going to talk about did I miss someone? Atlanta, Houston, Dodgers, Milwaukee, I believe was in there. Mets, Yankees, Phillies, Padres, Seattle, St. Louis, Tampa, Toronto. Okay, boom. So now we're sorted by the most projected points rest of season from these teams. There's Christian Yelich, George Springer, Nick Castellanos, way too cheap. Cronenworth, this guy I was talking about. Hoskins and Chapman are fine. But when you get down to Chris Taylor is, costs what most limited cards cost. You can get a Chris Taylor rare for the price of almost a Yelich limited. So Chris Taylor's a guy I would hunt. I mean, he plays every day for the Dodgers essentially. So these are the guys who, you're talking about projecting rest of season is one thing, but projecting, a 3 to 7 game series is much different. The variance is going to be wild. And like you've seen guys in the postseason, like Tyler Freeze for the Cardinals a couple years back. I know he hit the 1 home run, but I'm pretty sure he had a big play. And like nobody's out here like I got to have a Tyler Freeze card. If Sorare was around in 2000, whatever that Rangers Cardinals series was, no one's like I got to have Tyler Freeze. He wasn't that good. He was good. He was like Chris Taylor, if memory serves, maybe a little better. Like a Willie Adames or like a Cronenworth, Castellanos, like that level of player. But he made the difference, and like you don't need to. If the Dodgers win the World Series, you're not gonna need Freeman, Betts, Turner necessarily. I mean, it's not gonna hurt, and they're probably going to be involved in the action, and they're probably going to outscore, every other middling sort of player. Like you're not gonna have Tyler Freeze and now I'm mixing eras. Who was even around back then? Robinson Chirinos. I don't know if he was there, but you're not gonna have Chris Taylor and Will Smith and let's say the Astros come out of the other side. The Astros are all good. Jeremy Pena, um, whoever else, Trey Mancini, like that's not gonna be the winning lineup. Like you're gonna probably need a Betts or whatever, but you can still find a Chris Taylor and make up for some of what you're missing from, say, Freddie Freeman has a bad series or something like that. That can happen. So, and we're talking a couple of game weeks here, and it sounds like it's going to be series by series. I don't really know how they're going. I haven't read up on how they're going to do the playoffs, but I believe a series is going to be a game week. So we'll see. But now's the time to start looking for these sorts of guys. Again, I highly recommend Chris Taylor. Max Muncy is a very nice price. Like if you can target guys from these teams that are going to make a run who are cheap, if that's what you want. I mean, even on the high end, let's look at some higher end guys like Pete Alonso for 0.15 relative to Mookie Betts at 3 times that is different. Value versus replacement player is a lot different. I've talked about that before. Like you'll see corner infield. I mean corner infield, but that's just because of the DH tag. First baseman at the high end are cheaper than outfielders and middle infielders at the high end because at the high end occurs less. Like you're not going to have as many standouts, even though here are two right here. Outfield, 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 outfield. So maybe outfield doesn't matter, but it's the same sort of calculation you see in WAR, like catchers, shortstops, center fielders just have a built-in advantage value-wise because it's versus replacement player, and there's not as many high-end center fielders offensively and shortstops and catchers because you have to be so good defensively at those positions. So again, I've talked about it for about 6 weeks now. I'm trying to calculate it. I haven't had enough time to figure it out in this Excel sheet. But yeah, that's what you're looking for. And I would start to focus on some of these teams with the high playoff odds. Again, so I talked about these 3 NL teams possibly knocking themselves out. The Astros are almost double the World Series odds of the Yankees. So like find yourself some Astros. Yankees are very overpriced. So if you look at the Astros, I mean, like you can put together a nice little Astros stack for pretty cheap. If you want to go like mega cheap, the Blue Jays are right here, and they are far cheaper than the Yankees, and I think even the Astros, aside from Vlad Guerrero. Kyle Tucker's price is wild. That's funny. He's just had a couple good weeks. Yuli Gurriel, like he could have a good series, stuff like that. So okay, so that's what we're focusing on. Okay. Giveaways. How are we going to do this? It's time. We can finally do it. Let's decide who our first giveaway is going to be. We're going to go back here. We're going to go to my cards. We are going to go to limiteds. So we're going to do some folks that I've won. Will Myers, Seiya Suzuki, Kevin Plawecki, Kyle Schwarber, G-Man. I think we're going to go to the beginning, and we're going to go to Darren Ruff. I think that was my first ever win. Yes. All right. Darren Ruff does not play for the Giants. He plays for the Mets now. He is going to be our first giveaway. Here's Darren Ruff. He's already a level 4. I've been training him up, so it's not too bad. If you want to enter this giveaway, comment on this video, like the video, if you would, subscribe to the channel, if you would, and comment on the video. Comment your, so I want to make you comment your Sorare name. I will contact you if you want, if you win the card. I will comment to you in the comments, and then I will get your Sorare handle so you don't have to post it. Comment on this video if you'd like to win the Darren Ruff card. We're going to draw at random, but I want you to comment something that you are interested in Sorare or a question that you have and something you would like me to look into. I would like to say best question wins. That's not going to be the case because, again, it is going to be at random, but please give me a topic. Give me something you're interested in, something I haven't covered, something you want to know about a player, anything. It could be any question about Sorare MLB, some question that you have about baseball, anything. Ask me a question in the comments, and I will enter you into the Darren Ruff giveaway. And as long as we have limiteds to give away, we will give them away. So again, comment if you want to win the Darren Ruff limited card. And as a bonus, follow me on Twitter at Lex Hooper. If I can't find you on Twitter after I draw, I'm ruling you ineligible. Sorry, I'm making these rules up on the fly, but they're going to stand. Comment on here and follow me on Twitter at Lex Hooper. And if you don't have Twitter, maybe I'll make an exception for you. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Okay? That's how you win the Darren Ruff. Ask me a question in the comments. Like, subscribe, and follow if you could. But that's where we're going to start. All right, that's everything for this week. I hope you can find some good deals on some of these guys that I like in the upcoming game week. And until next time, we'll talk to you soon.